Hello again and welcome back to the Seed Compost Experiment 2026. Now the Winter Olympics may well be over, but this competition is not over, not by a long way. We've got more stamina than Olympic athletes, people. Let's celebrate that. We've started to have some really fantastic spring weather here, and I'm so excited to be sowing my tomato plants because, yeah, it just means summer, doesn't it? And we were all desperate for summer after the miserable winter that we've had. I'm going to be sowing one of my tomato varieties in the seed in these pots here. Now, I have also sown a couple of other varieties, which I'll talk about a little bit. I didn't do them in the seed compost experiment because, yeah, it was all getting a bit overwhelming. So today I'm going to be sowing my golden sunrise tomatoes. They're a really beautiful, very tasty yellow tomato, and I really like to grow these tomatoes, and I grow them every year because I find them really reliable. And one of the fantastic things about the yellow plum tomatoes is they don't take so long to actually ripen. They're actually ready a lot earlier on in the season than some of the other fruits. So, you know, if we do get a really rubbish summer, I'm at least guaranteed some tomatoes. On top of the golden sunrise, I'm also going to be sowing the black Okoya, which I grew last year. To begin with, I wasn't sure about it, and it did take a long time for the fruits to ripen. But when they did ripen, it was really such a delicious flavour, and yeah, I'm looking forward to them again this year. And the third variety that I'm growing is my mystery tomato. The reason why I'm calling them a mystery plant is because I don't really know the variety. I took these seeds from a tomato plant that I had in my garden last year, and it just germinated from presumably a tomato that I'd discarded in the compost. Amazingly, that was the same bed where I had the two volunteer chili plants, so something really fantastic about that compost, right? But yeah, so I've got those three varieties that I'm going to be growing this year, and because I've got the three different colours, it means that I should have quite a long tomato season. Now, I'm only going to be sowing the golden sunrise in the different compost mixes because I haven't got enough space to do all of them in all of the different mixes. But yeah, it'll be really interesting to see what the tomatoes prefer. You know, does the seed compost help them or not? So one of the suggestions that I received from my last video was that it might be a really good idea to try sieving the multi-purpose compost to see if actually by doing that the multi-purpose composts perform as well as or almost as well as the seed compost. I have to say I did find it a little bit of a faff. I'm not going to lie, I don't think I had quite the right technique, and some of the composts, particularly the Miracle Grow and the Dalefoot, they were quite chunky, so actually sieving out all of the chunky bits was quite hard work. But I dare say if you do that regularly, then you get like a really good action going. I probably need a bit more practice. But what I can say is that after I sieved the compost, I did notice how much lighter the texture was. And I can really imagine that for the roots of a plant that's developing, it's going to make a big difference. So yeah, it probably is worth it. And it'll be interesting to see, you know, if it does impact upon the germination rates of the seeds that we're sowing today. So let's crack on and sow these tomatoes, right? Okay, yeah, so let's get sowing my golden sunrise tomatoes. There's meant to be approximately, 75 seeds. Oh, we've got loads of seeds, people, don't worry. Okay. I was thinking to do 3 in each one. There we go. The coir mix there. I would think, I don't know why, I feel like the coir mix should be good for the tomatoes. And yeah, there they are sown. Now, before I reveal to you what my mystery plant is, I'm going to show you what's happened with my broad beans. Now my broad beans have been chilling out in the grow house because they really don't need to be inside at all. But I will bring them inside just because it will be easier to film on the desk here. Here then are my broad beans. I think the results here have been quite surprising. While I've got full germination, some are doing a lot better than others. And generally speaking, the ones in the multi-purpose compost on this side seem to be doing a little bit better than the ones in the seed compost. And you might look at this and not be able to see that, but that's because the ones in the middle row here, the Westland John Innes, are actually doing the best of all of the beans. And so they're kind of hiding the disappointing results from the Rocket Grow and the Koya. Now, over here, of the multi-purpose composts, the one that's doing the best is the Melcourt Silver Grow, and you know, two of them are quite tall here. The Miracle Grow here, they're a bit smaller, but sort of mid-table, shall we say. And then the Dalefoot, I'll just move it round. Yeah, the Dalefoot are quite small and they've been a little bit disappointing, has to be said. So that's the multi-purpose compost. Let me bring you on then to the seed compost. As I say, the ones in the middle clearly are doing the best of all of them, which is the Westland John Innes. The Koya, really surprised about the Koya. The broad beans don't seem to like the Koya at all. As I say, there's been full germination, but only just right because there's some really small ones there. And then if I move it round to the Rocket Grow, I'm going to move it so you can see it from the front. So the three here, now this one, that's like a 0.5. It's germinated, kind of, but it's really not looking healthy. I mean, look at that compared to the one in the Westland John Innes behind it. It's not looking that healthy at all. And then if you look at the two that are a little bit stronger, what's interesting is, and I don't know how well it comes across in this video, is that the leaves have basically curled. I don't know if you can see that. I'll try and do a close-up. But yeah, that is not a good sign. I think that's normally a sign that the seedlings have been scorched, but I'm surprised by that if that's the case. But yeah, the results have been very surprising. What can we conclude from all of this? Well, I think really, maybe broad beans, generally speaking, don't want a specialist seed compost unless it's the right one, which in this case seems to be the Westland John Innes. Yeah. Yeah, so as I say, they are some very surprising results and I would not have expected that at all. Now let me come on to the mystery plant that I'm going to sow. I do think it's really important to test out different types of plant, different seed sizes, because as we've seen from the broad beans, the compost that the broad beans prefer isn't necessarily the same as some of the other seeds like the mizuna and the onions that I sowed. So bearing that in mind, I thought, what haven't I sowed already? Flowers, yes. So I'm going to sow some zinnia today. I've got this beautiful variety called Sahara Sunburst. It's sort of red and orange, and again, it just looks like summer. I am in the mood for summer. I did think it would look absolutely fantastic in my planters where I have my tomatoes. Now I've got a feeling that the zinnia are going to be flowering long before my tomatoes are, so I might need to do a second sowing. But yeah, I do think they will look absolutely stunning there in the front garden. Okay, so let's get sowing these seeds. I had planned to do 2 seeds in each module, but what I've discovered is that I don't have enough seeds to do that. I should do, because there's meant to be 20 seeds in each pack, and I've got 2 packs, but yeah, doesn't seem to be the case. So I'm just going to do 1 in each module. I mean, it's still going to be plenty for me. I'm not going to be short of zinnias, that's for sure. Yeah, so just to give you a really quick update then from the other seeds that I sowed during the first round. If you remember my mizuna at the front here, I had terrible trouble with them. They went really leggy because there wasn't enough light in the spare office. Well, I brought them outside here to the grow house, and while some of them are still a little bit floppy, you can see that they're getting their second leaves now, so I think they'll be ready for planting out soon. Yeah, so moving on then to the onions. It does seem like the type of compost that you use for the onions really does make a big difference. Generally speaking, the germination has been better in the seed compost mixes, than in the multi-purpose. But again, it does depend on the compost type. So the Melcourt Silver Grow has had pretty good germination there. And I do wonder if I'd sieved the compost, could it have been even better still? The Miracle Grow and the Dalefoot have done pretty poorly. I'm not surprised because they are quite heavy mixes, and I do think that onions seem to prefer like a lighter area mix. And of the seed composts, no surprise that the Westland John Innes has done the best. And yeah, it really does seem to be the front runner this year. Yeah, so I'm finding the results from the seed compost experiment absolutely fascinating this year. And I have to tell you, I'm also having a lot of fun. So I'm glad I decided to run it again. It's also given me some real food for thought in terms of how I sow my seeds in the future. And do let me know in the comment section if any of the results that you've seen here during the compost experiment this year have maybe made you rethink how you grow your seeds at home. Are you more likely to use seed compost mixes or less? Or have you already found the winning formula and you're sticking with that? In which case, good for you. Now, I do hope that you're enjoying watching along. As I say, I'll be back in a couple of weeks' time probably with the next update. But until then, thank you so much for watching and goodbye.